what's one thing you wish people knew more about competitive intelligence?
Yeah. So it's funny that you ask that because I feel like I've always had kind of like a love-hate relationship with competitive.
Mm,
So when I just got started in product marketing, and again, like I think it's because of that very traditional approach of like we're gonna look at competitive just so we can make some battle cards and like move on and like that's
yeah.
it. And that's gonna be the sole purpose of that. And to me, that always felt like such a miss, right? Because it's like I mean, if that's your approach, I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound extreme, like on purpose.
Yeah.
But if I'm exaggerating, right? Like if that's your approach, and if you're only looking at competitive research for like these things, you can literally have an intern who knows nothing about anything do that. Like
Wow.
you just tell someone, hey, go online, go and like look at these things and yeah, put like in a decent format like everything that you can find. um
My gosh.
and it's almost like it's like minimizing all of the like the brain work and all of that. But and even though like now with AI and all of that, and like you can use some scraping tools, like there are ways to like automate things and to make things just like take less time than
Yeah.
before. um there again, like competitive is part of strategy. So there's like it's one thing to copy paste words from a website to a
Yeah.
spreadsheet or to whatever tool, and there's another, it's a whole other skill set to look at these things and try to connect the dots. um and I feel
Gotcha.
like that's something that I think, like, of course inside the community everyone gets it, but I think outside the community, I don't know that people like
Uh,
really see, like see that value. And I think that maybe like an outsider, once they have seen a solid competitive intel practitioner, then they get it because then they
yeah.
understand like, okay, oh, like this is what good looks like. And it's like
Mhm.
it's not just, a spreadsheet with
Not like
stuff.
superficial. It's more
Yeah,
in depth.
yeah, but they sometimes have to see that good version to like acknowledge it.
Yeah. But I do feel like just based on conversations I've had with other CI practitioners, um, it's like legit work. I don't just think it's like jump on a website, look through, and then you can tell. Like you could be intuitive to a certain degree. I think you also said that, but I feel like there's a lot more than just assessing from a first glance, like whether someone is a competitor, whether that's gonna, whether you can actually confidently say, "Oh, this is me done." But again, I have never been in CI. This is just from the conversations I've had, and it sounds like more work than maybe people give you guys credit for. Which I guess another. This is me being curious. What's like the most? Have you ever been in a position, whether in product marketing or CI, where you've been like somebody said something absurd to you that you're like, "Oh, clearly you don't understand what I
Yes.
do." Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like, I wouldn't even say it was necessarily um in terms of competitor, like in favor, like in terms of competitive intel. It was just like in, I would even say it was kind of like understanding the market even. But yeah, and I sometimes tell that story. It's I and that was like a mind blown moment for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
we was talking to a product person at the company I was working at, and we were talking about a possible integration to add to the product, and like it was with a tool that our ICP clearly uses.
Yeah.
And then that PM, well, I mean, they were head of product at the time, like, so they
Wow.
weren't like a junior person, but
Yeah.
they were saying something about well, the impact of adding that capability was like it's barely going to move the needle because only like a few, like I don't, like less than 10% of our customers use these types of integrations,
Mm,
and fall under that use case. um, and so like it's not worth investing in because not a lot of customers are going to want it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not just for that use case. It's
yeah.
like literally most of our ICP are using this tool, across all use cases. Like
Yeah.
it's not just this specific use case, it's all of them use it. and it's not less than 10%. It's, like 60. So so it
That's
was kind of
ridiculous.
so that was kind of like a moment that, and funny enough, it was an integration with a tool that could be considered as a competitor, right? It was like it was a competitive approach to doing what we were doing, but
Yeah.
our solution was a little bit different. So it was a slightly different approach, but they could for sure work together side by side if you could position it in that way. These things, like really understanding what our customers are evaluating
Mhm.
and what they consider as possible competition versus something that you could, work with, it's paramount, right? It's paramount. And like there is no way that organizations can run if only one or two people at every company knows these things. Like we
Yeah.
have to find a way to take all that competitive insight and all those market insights that we gather as part of
Mhm.
it, because competitive is a huge part of the market, right?
Mhm.
It's part of like the market research, and we have to make sure that these insights get through every person at the company, that everyone knows these things. I think